Hi, I'm Daryl Holzer, and I'm going to share some techniques that I call emotional hygiene. We're all getting really good at the physical hygiene that we need in order to stay safe through this epidemic. And there are also really easy, simple ways for you to keep your emotional body, your energetic body clear so that you can be your best. So the first thing to talk about is our fears and our imagination, and how powerful our imagination is as a tool that can help us deal with stress, that can give us a way of coping in difficult situations. It's easy to allow our fears to put us into states of despair or overwhelm, or tending to overreact and panic and needing to buy 40 rolls of toilet paper. Anyway, it's just as important to not spread fear as it is to not spread the actual physical virus. So in this situation, your imagination can be transformed into a power tool. If you hold an image in your mind, it becomes your reality. It becomes the way your emotions relate to your experience. If you think it, you feel it. So I'm going to give you 3 steps that are for before, during, and after you may need to be around groups of people. If you are someone on the front lines where you're actually working in the medical field, you're a grocery person, you're a delivery person, anyone that has to face the public, there's especially important techniques, but this also applies to anyone just needing to go out to the grocery store and feeling exposed. So before you go on your shift, before you get out the door to your grocery store, make sure that you have a really solid grounding cord. And again, your imagination is the way you make that happen. Closing your eyes, taking a moment, taking a deep breath, and imagining that growing from the base of your spine, you have a root as strong and powerful as a tree root that takes you all the way down to the center of the earth. You've got a lifeline to the life force heartbeat of the Mother Earth. However you want to frame that, take a moment, even right now, to imagine that, closing your eyes, picturing the tailbone root growing deep down into the earth, past the gravel, past the heavy rocks, all the way down to where the really beautiful molten lava life force is, and bring that back up through your body just by using your power of thought, bringing that back up and letting it activate and fill you as if you were being regenerated, because you are. So that's one thing, is making sure you're staying grounded. Also, before you get out the door, imagine that you have a protective bubble around you. There's a way for you to do that piece, which is to imagine this core, your solar plexus, your that center chakra. This is, your gut, your power center, whatever we want to call that. You can imagine that as a yellow ball of light, that again, it's your own personal life force energy. And you can imagine that you can expand that out to about arm's length. And it's arm's length above your head, it's arm length below your feet, it's all around you. It's in front, it's in back, it's a giant circle. And you're pressing that personal power out to that edge and creating a skin. You're creating a powerful, invisible shield that can protect you from anyone else's energy, their emotions, their fear, their frustration, their anger, and it becomes this kind of slippery thing that on the outside, anything that gets in your area would just fall right off. So once you've pressed that out and created that skin, then you just draw your own aura, your own energy back, leaving that skin there. You can still connect with people. You can still have people actually like physically closer than that to you if you need to be working with someone. But for you, it's a mindful way of intentionally allowing yourself to be protected from other people's emotions, especially their fears. So then a third technique that you can use, even just to kind of set yourself up before you go out into public, is to imagine that you are standing in the waterfall of stars. That whatever frame of reference you might be familiar with or like to use, whether that's a spirit thing or not, just imagine that you are standing in the beautiful cleansing water of a waterfall of stars. That no matter what's going on around you, no matter where you are walking, who you're talking to, whatever you have to do, you are constantly being rinsed clear by this waterfall of stars, as if you were underneath the faucet and you're just being rinsed clear. And if you need to, you can kind of like, oh, I'm a sponge and I'm going to squeeze myself out, and more clear water is coming. And anything that's being rinsed off of you is going down into the earth, just like dirty water, where it can be utilized and regenerated. So, grounding. Put yourself in a bubble and rinse yourself clear with the waterfall of stars. Be in that waterfall of stars all the time. So as you are out in the world, if you're on your work shift, if you're just running an errand, continue that bubble, continue that waterfall of stars, knowing that anything that comes into your sphere will not be stuck in you. Another way to feel extra strength is to imagine, again, this is like a little kid game. Imagine you've got your imaginary friend here, your powerful, strong guardian at your back. This guardian is your own higher self. It's your intention. It's your own greatest way of being. So we all have our child self. We all have our highest self. This is a way of making sure you are feeling accompanied by your highest self, that which brings you wisdom and strength and love. And wherever you go and whatever decisions you have to make, you will have access to that more exalted way of being, which is the opposite of fear. And if you're on a shift, especially if you're a medical worker, or even if you're a grocery store clerk and you're starting to get really frazzled and overwhelmed, it's better to go off and reset your, all these different techniques and skills than allowing yourself to be vulnerable or frazzled. You're not going to be useful. So I would encourage you even to just like say, I got to go figure something out. I'll be right back. Go step in a closet, go step into the washroom, whatever you need to do, go stand in a corner and redo your grounding, your bubble, your waterfall of stars, and taking deep breaths and knowing that, it's better for you to take that time and then re-enter whatever you're dealing with than to be whacked or frazzled. So one other technique that I often use in just a mindful clearing is imagine that every doorway that you walk through is a shower. It's rinsing you clear of anything that doesn't serve you. It's rinsing you clear of emotion that you may have picked up from anybody else. It rinses you clear of your own fearful emotions. So the last piece of this is that after you finish your shift, after you come back from the grocery store, in addition to taking off your clothing, your protective gear, washing, whatever, when you're in the shower especially is a great way to do this. If you're in the shower, utilize that continual visual of the waterfall of stars that rinses you clear. Put yourself in that shower and imagine yourself not just physically being cleansed, but you're energetically and emotionally being cleansed and soothed. And the main thing is being soothed after you come back into your own environment. I'd like to present one other quick way of being soothed, whether you're waking up in the middle of the night with anxiety or you just need a moment where you're not the one taking care of someone else, that you feel cared for. And that's to just close your eyes and imagine that you are a little baby bird in the nest. You're all alone. The world is wild. There's a storm. It's raging all around you. And now, out of nowhere, comes this most beautiful, loving, strong mother bird. She returns to the nest and she wraps her loving arms all around you. Inside her wings, you are safe. You are cared for. There is nothing she needs from you other than to receive this protection, this comforting, this love. You are as valuable as a newborn baby, and receiving this love is what you need to be your best. Spend some time being comforted by the mother bird. So some of these techniques you can learn quickly, some will take a little longer. Don't get concerned if you forget. You can listen to this again. You can make notes for yourself. Once you get practice, you can just have a note by your workstation or something that says Waterfall of Stars or Mother Bird or something like that to remind you that you have some tools to keep yourself emotionally clear. And remember, you are here in this world at this time. You can make a difference. You might be overwhelmed, but there's this story about the little boy and the starfish. And that is a really great example for how we can all embrace this situation. This little boy has come out to the beach after a storm, and there are starfish covering the beach that are about to die as soon as the sun comes out strong. And he's frantically picking them up and hurling them back into the ocean one by one. And this cynical old man comes up and says, "Oh, why do you even bother? You can't make a difference. There's way too many." And the little boy, without skipping a beat, picks up a starfish, throws it in the water and says, "I made a difference to that one." That's what you are doing. You're making a difference, even if it's just one person at a time. It doesn't matter if you feel overwhelmed. Just trust that you are making a difference. And there's a whole army of people who are coming into this situation to be helpful. You are not alone. Whatever you do is good enough. Thank you for being here and doing what you've come here to do. Thanks.